Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to jump right into our video for today, which is on rates and unit rates. So we're going to apply the things that we know about ratios and creating proportions to determine different rates. So make sure you're comfortable. Have your materials ready. That could include a whiteboard, marker, and eraser today, or if you prefer, as I know some people like Joey and Liam like to do, you can just use your math notebook and a pencil. But today we are going to define what a rate and unit rate are in problems and then practice finding them. Hopefully you laughed at the little joke up here, but shh, don't tell Miss Egan or Miss Bridle. All right, let's start talking about rates and unit rates. Okay, here we have some notes that will be in this video, so if you're needing to reference them, you can always come back and rewatch this video. The link's not going anywhere. If you look at the YouTube page where these videos are posted, they're all going to be housed there. In addition, you'll just see a bunch from my 6th grade class, or you could even see some from when I was in grad school. But just know that these aren't going anywhere, so you can always come back to them. Or you can jot some things down if you're in your notebook if that helps you. So a rate is a ratio in which the two terms are measured in different units. So you've actually been looking at rates already when we've been doing proportions, but now we're just naming what they are. So for example, if there are 18 bracelets for 3 girls, that is a rate. The 18 bracelets has a different unit than obviously the girls. So that's one way that we could write the rate. As you know, a rate now is just another type of ratio. So ratios you have seen written in 3 ways: as a fraction, using the word to, and with a colon. Now you're just going to see them as a fraction when we're talking about rates and unit rates. And you'll also see them with words too, but for these examples, it's just going to be as a fraction. So when you hear the word unit rate, a unit rate is just a rate that is written with a denominator of 1. It's always out of 1 or per 1. We're measuring either how much or how long for 1. So if we look at the example above, 18 bracelets for 3 girls, we want the denominator to be 1. So the denominator would just be 1 girl. So as you can tell, that would mean that our unit rate would be 6 bracelets for every 1 girl. Remember that fraction bar means division. So if we went to our original problem, 18 bracelets for 3 girls, and did 18 divided by 3, we would get 6 bracelets for every 1 girl. So you can find the unit rate using division. And I'll show you some other examples today of how you can find unit rate also by using cross multiplication. All right, so I'm going to model a problem or two, and I want you guys to also do some practice. So go ahead and pause the video now if you need to, and make sure that you either have your math notebook and a pencil or a whiteboard, marker, and eraser. So for this practice problem, it says the hockey team scored 17 goals in 5 games. I'm going to first write that as a rate. So I will do, and I'm doing this on my whiteboard so I can show you, but you go ahead and try right now too and see if we come up with the same thing. 17 goals in 5 games. So remember, a rate is just a comparison using 2 different units. So my rate was 17 goals for 5 games. Now if I want to find it as a unit rate, I'm trying to determine how many goals on average would the hockey team score in 1 game. So remember, with a unit rate, our denominator is going to be 1. Oops, sorry there. So I have my 5 games. Now think of your proportions that we just did. Both of my games are for the denominator, and my 17 goals is at the top. I'm trying to figure out how many goals on average they would score in 1 game. So I can do 2 different things here. I can think of proportions as equivalent fractions. So I could be asking myself, how do I get, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to hold this best. How do I get from 5 games to 1 game? And you might say, well, Miss Foltz, you're dividing by 5. So if I do that on the bottom, I could do that on the top, and then I could figure out 17 divided by 5. So go ahead and pause, and I want you to figure out what the numerator would be, doing 17 divided by 5. So pause, try it, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, so you have hopefully solved and pressed play, and you would see that the unit rate is 3.4. So 3.4 goals for every 1 game. That's how you can find the unit rate making equivalent fractions through multiplication or division. I'm going to model one other way you could do this by using the cross multiplication strategy, if you guys liked that we did earlier this week. So again, I'm going to set up my rate, 17 goals for 5 games. And I know unit rate is per 1, or a denominator of 1, so 1 game. And the goals is my unknown. I'm going to cover my face here for a minute. All right, now I can use cross multiplication to set up a one-step equation. And I'll show you my screen in 1 second. So here, I've used cross multiplication to set up a one-step equation, and then I'm going to need to balance that equation by finding x. So getting x alone, I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I have 17 divided by 5, and I'm going to get my same answer of 3.4. So x equals 3.4. So that's 2 different ways that you can find unit rate. You can find equivalent fractions, or you can set it up as a proportion and use cross multiplication and then solving a one-step equation. The key thing here to remember is that your unit rate is a denominator of 1. It's per 1. So I like to think of speed limits. So if you're driving 15 miles if the speed limit is 50 miles per hour, 50 miles is the max you can travel per hour. So that's a unit rate that we see quite a bit. Here are some practice problems. I'm going to scroll up here. So what I'm going to have you do is look at number 1, and then I'm going to have you pause the video so you don't hear me going through the answers. Pause, I want you to solve, then press play, and you'll be able to hear the final solution. And I'm just going to go through the answers here, and I'll show 1 or 2 on the whiteboard, but make sure you're pausing in between and giving yourself some time to actually solve them. So if you, I'm going to go ahead and start modeling number 1. So if you want to pause now, solve it, and then press play. All right, number 1. 25 flowers for 5 vases. If I want to write that as a rate, I'm going to do, and notice that I'm still writing out the units. That's because the order matters. Remember that from ratios, orders really matter. So I'm still writing that out for my rate. 25 flowers is listed first. I'm going to put that up top for my 5 vases. And my unit rate is per 1. So I'm trying to figure out how many flowers are in 1 vase. All right. I'm going to use this strategy here. 5 divided by 5. Oops, 5 divided by 5 would get me over to 1. So 25 divided by 5 is going to give me 5. So it would be 5 flowers in 1 vase. That is going to be my unit rate. So this first one that I wrote here is my rate, and then it went over to my unit rate. All right, for number 2, the rate would be 32 games over 8 weeks, and the unit rate there would be 4 games per week. Number 3, the unit rate would be 72 pencils in one package. For number 4, the unit rate would be 28 students per one class. I could write that as 28 over 1, or to show the unit rate here, I might even spell it out using words 28 students per class. For number 5, it would be $2.20 per pound, or $2.20 over 1. For 6, it would be 4.25 minutes per page. And for 7, their rate per hour would be 50 miles per hour. Remember, there's 2 strategies. You can do equivalent fractions here by using multiplication or division. You can also set it up as a proportion, use the information you have, and then cross multiply and divide, making it a one-step equation. All right, your practice for today, if you click the link on the assignment page that's posted on the West website, it will take you over to our Google Classroom. I'm putting everything with the date of the assignment in the title, really hoping that that will help ease any confusion about what you need to do. So when you get into Google Classroom under classwork, you'll see April 3rd, understanding rates and unit rates under the practice at the top. And you're going to see an attached Google Doc. You can complete these problems by making another copy if you want to just do it digitally, or you could record your answers in your math notebook. Either way for the practice problems is fine, and then we're actually going to talk about them together next week. So if you click on the Google Doc, it will take you to understanding rates and unit rates. Again, do this in your notebook, or you can make a copy of the document and just record your answers here in Docs. So some problems for you to work on today. That one got a little cut off, so scroll down for number 9. Then I'm also going to ask you before the weekend to spend 15 to 20 minutes on Prodigy or Zearn, and that will wrap up math for today. We're going to do some more work with rates and unit rates next week, and we're going to be doing a little activity looking at the different speeds of different animals and comparing them to figure out which animal runs and moves the fastest. So that's what's coming down next week. And as always, guys, email me. We can meet in Google Meet to chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Continue to be great advocates for your learning. I'm so proud of you. I miss all of you, and I will see you soon. Have a great weekend.